Hi, friends. Thanks for joining me on my second ever YouTube Live. This is very exciting. Uh, a couple days ago, I spoke about imposter syndrome in small business, and we got into a lot of great ideas about how to combat imposter syndrome so that you're more confident in your business. That live stream replay is up on my channel now. Please check it out if you're interested. This live stream will be about DEI in small business, diversity, equity, and inclusion in my small business and hopefully in your small business. First of all, I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm Ray Katz. I'm a freelancer and small business owner with 10 plus years of experience working on websites, marketing, strategy, tech for small businesses, just like my own. I actually have a lot of experience dealing with some of the tech, website, and marketing headaches that small business owners run into, especially if you have a small budget like many of us do. So I understand how to work with that and to get your business up and running with less stress on your part. That's the goal. And actually, I find that diversity, equity, and inclusion is fundamental to providing good service as a small business owner. I know that it's been unfortunately in the news lately that, people are no longer allowed to talk about DEI, that these programs are getting shut down, and it's really unfortunate, I think, because this is really important to a lot of people, especially marginalized people, to feel comfortable in their workplace. Just a basic decency of respect towards your coworkers. That's a big part of what DEI teaches people how to do and builds it into company culture in a really fundamental way. So for me personally, I'm a trans non-binary person. I came out several years ago by this point, and I'm actually much happier and healthier since. You may not agree with the way I think about myself. That's okay. But all I ask is that I'm able to talk about myself in a respectful way, much as I would like you to talk about yourself in a respectful way. This both does and doesn't come up in my business. A lot of times, people assume that I'm a woman, which is okay, but I would just like the ability to inform them that I don't think of myself as a woman. So maybe that I don't want to be considered for certain women's opportunities in business, for example. And just to be able to share my life with my clients, with my coworkers, with people I may be chatting with, and then it turns out they need a website, so I end up working on their website. As any freelancer knows, the lines between potential client and potential friend are blurry, and that can be a good thing, I've grown to love working with my friends. It makes things better when you can both share a little bit about your life and in a friendly sense. I was on a call the other day with a man who shared that he's going skiing this weekend with his family, with his kids, with his wife and kids. So what I know about him now is that, he's a man, he's married to his wife, and they have kids, and they're going on vacation. This is all perfectly normal chit chat, right? It's very pleasant. I responded, "Oh, that sounds lovely. I hope you have a nice time." I've also been in the mountains and it's beautiful, and we had a nice little conversation. But I can't help thinking that what if the person I had been talking to was in a lesbian relationship, or was a trans person, was, if I was talking to someone in the LGBTQ community, if I didn't represent a safe person to talk to about these things, they might have to think twice before sharing just a casual anecdote from their weekend. It's a little bit different in corporate America, unfortunately, if a woman shares that she's going skiing on the weekend with her wife, because that is just casually sharing what your weekend's going to be like. But it's also coming out as gay, which can be awkward and uncomfortable. And just think about having to do that every time you have a conversation with someone. How much do you hold back? How much do you refuse to share? It's a constant layer of stress and anxiety and thinking about how you fit into the world. So, the reason that bringing diversity, inclusion, and equity into our businesses means that people can release some of those layers so they don't have to stress out about who they are quite as much at work. This actually makes people a lot more productive, a lot more open, creative, able to express themselves. Because if you want to have someone, for example, making a really creative design, how can you ask them to hide who they are and then express their creativity in just the ways that you want? It doesn't usually work that way. I believe that for successful contract work, for successful employees, people need to be comfortable with what they're doing and, inspired, motivated to work with you and the other people in your organization. So, we've gotten into some of my thoughts as a manager and why inclusion is so important. But I want to bring it back to small business. Small business, like myself, I'm mostly a one-man shop here. I've worked with businesses that have less than 10 employees. That's kind of the scale that I'm talking about here. The kind of small business that has no HR, probably doesn't have written company policies. It's just a negotiation person to person with you and a client, basically. So you are your own HR. And this has come up in my experience. I've had to have some awkward conversations with clients. However, many people are really nice. It doesn't come up that often. And what I've been doing in terms of standing up for my own inclusion in my own organization are things like when I post testimonials about my work on my website, I make sure that they say they or them when referring to me instead of she and her. This is it's just a word change. I know this has been very politicized, but it makes me feel more seen, better about my work if I can refer to myself in the ways that I would prefer. And I check in with my clients about this. I've also been putting my pronouns in my name for video calls. This is a nice reminder that when the client sees me in a video call, they have the opportunity to know that, oh yeah, Ray uses they and them. Clients may or may not actually use these words for me, but at least they have the opportunity to see it. And I feel comfortable sharing that side of myself with my clients, which is really nice. I share that because this is something new to me. I hadn't really been sharing my pronouns with clients up until a couple months ago. And, the timing does coincide with when the political turmoil in this country really increased. But I wanted to really focus on making my small business a inclusive, welcoming place for myself because I have the ability to do that. I run the business, I can set the policies. So these federal policies don't affect me as a small business owner, and I can be inclusive to LGBTQ plus people and other marginalized people within the work that I'm doing. Okay, that's a lot. It can be a lot to just kind of think about all the things that, trans people, LGBTQ people have to think about every day at work. So let's just stretch a little bit. Like if you haven't lifted your arms today, let's go ahead and do that. And take a deep breath, a couple deep breaths. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. I think sometimes we think of ourselves as robots, and we forget that we are, in fact, animals that need stretching and naps and, to drink enough water and tea and stuff like that. I also wanted to share that when I'm thinking about how to best serve my clients, inclusive design is part of that. When I'm choosing stock photos for websites, I'm conscious that most stock photos are really focused on white, skinny people, and that actually the people who my clients serve often fall into a range of demographics. So I intentionally look for photos that represent different kinds of people. And so that a customer visiting the website can see someone closer to what they look like. A person of color shouldn't have to go to a company's website and see just white people on this page. That's not to say that white people are bad or anything. It's just, it's not representative of who the customers are. So it's important to think about that. White people should not be the default. Men should not be the default. Think about actually representing who you're marketing to. And because this is really important, it's not just a checkbox, oh yeah, we have diverse photos. It actually increases the effectiveness of your marketing if people can see someone who looks more like them or who acts more like them. Similarly, when I'm advertising for my own work, I seek out people who are doing good work in my community. I love working with small businesses who are working on education or helping people get housing or doing something to support marginalized folks in our community. It turns out that a lot of people running these small businesses are people of color, LGBTQ people, people in marginalized communities, because they understand the importance of doing the work to lift up marginalized communities. This is an example of being open and inclusive to working with all different kinds of people, disabled people, neurodivergent people, people of color, Black people, Indigenous people. You have to be open to working with all these people. And, I really appreciate the trust that my clients have placed in me to help them grow their businesses. I have a few other things here. Just had a few notes. This is a big topic, and I have a lot of thoughts on it. I was a little bit scared to come out to my clients. I grew up in the 90s where being out as anything was considered very unprofessional. Even if you're gay or you're trans, you're not supposed to talk about it at work. And that kind of got ingrained in me. It took me years to get over this idea that who I am is unprofessional. I can't change who I am, but I can change the mindset. I am a professional because I do work, and this is who I am. So who I am is professional. I was scared to come out at work initially, but I felt like it was really important for my well-being and my ability to express myself and do my best work. So as I started coming out to, at the time, managers, coworkers, people who reported to me, uh, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I felt a lot of fear in my body because, a lot of people out there tell you, "Hey, you shouldn't come out at work. That's not okay." But I was in a inclusive work environment where, you know, gender identity and expression were listed as protected in the company handbook. And some of my coworkers encouraged me to share this information. They said it was okay. Um, and you know what? It was. People were very supportive, but it wasn't a big deal. It didn't change how I worked within this organization very much. And that's the way I prefer it. I don't think it's a huge deal. It's just it becomes a huge deal when one can't talk about who one is. Um, excuse me. When I came out to my clients, it was again a little bit scary. Well, okay, it was very scary. I started putting they and them in my name in video calls. I wasn't sure if anyone actually noticed. That's the interesting thing. You can leave all these hints, but many people just simply don't notice, or they don't care, or they don't read, or whatever. And that's all fine. It's just a little bit of a letdown when it feels like such a big deal to put that out there and then no one notices. But it's all right. It honestly is. And A few weeks ago, I had a client write a really lovely testimonial for me. Just really nice, talking about how she appreciated what I did on her website and everything. But the thing is, and this is a little thing, she used she in the testimonial to refer to me. And I read that, and I felt a combination of emotions. I felt very grateful and I felt this overwhelming feeling of gratitude towards this client for saying this nice thing about me. I also felt like if I was to post this testimonial on my website, I would prefer that it either use my name or use they instead of she. So I thought about it for a little while, and I thought, I could just change the word and post it on the website, and the client would probably never know. But I also thought, I think this is an opportunity to have a conversation, to educate, to check in. So I emailed back the client and I expressed my gratitude for that lovely testimonial. I really appreciated her kind words towards me, and that meant a lot. And I asked her, is it okay if instead of she, I say they or Ray? And the client, you know, took a little bit to write back, and I was like, oh, did I say the wrong thing? Is she never going to speak to me again? But then an email came in, and she said, use whatever word makes you happy. And I really appreciate that. You know, I think that that's really what this is about. It's just a word. It's not a big deal. And if there's a word that makes you a little happier, why not use that? That's really the goal here. So, in one sense, pronouns aren't a huge deal. They're just a word. But when they become a huge deal is when they're used to out trans people. It's not about the word. It's about people recognizing you for who you are and behaving in a way that's respectful towards you. And I think that in a small business, that's really important. It's really important to stick up for who you are and how people can be respectful towards you, how you can be respectful towards them. And I actually think that reaching out to my clients with some of the other work that I do, the LGBTQ plus advocacy work that I do, allows me to build a relationship of trust with my clients. Since my clients trust me, more because I've shared things with them, it develops a closer relationship. It's just like chatting with your freelance client about like, hey, how was your weekend? And they tell you a little bit about their family. And for straight people with quote unquote normal families, this is a very normal way to chit chat. And so you might think, what's the point of the chit chat? They're paying me per hour to be here, and they want me to listen to their weekend. Well, it's actually really important because you build a level of trust and understanding and familiarity with the people you work with. And that makes the designs better, that makes the websites better, the marketing materials more authentic. If you understand your client a little bit better and you understand where they're coming from, it really helps. And often, for people to share who they are with you, you need to share who you are with them first sometimes. If you can share a little bit about yourself, then your client knows a little bit more about, they feel a little more comfortable sharing their own life with you, and they may feel more comfortable sharing what they actually want in terms of a marketing vision. Let me just check my notes real quick. I just starting out with the YouTube Live, haven't quite gotten to the point where I've got the video and the notes and the slides. I'm going to be doing a live class coming up in about a week on February 20th, and then I've added another date for it, March 3rd. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to be notified about upcoming events. This next one is going to be a website class. So if you're a small business owner and you need a website, I mean, who doesn't, right? I'm going to distill my 10 years of experience working on websites for small businesses into this presentation. We're going to cover a lot. Whether you're just starting out and you have no idea what website platform to use, if you should use WordPress or Squarespace, you don't know what colors go well on the website, you want to make it look professional, you have no idea what to put on the homepage, we're going to talk about all of that in a lot of detail. It'll be really educational and really entertaining. We can troubleshoot your issues live on the call. So if you're interested in this, how to build a website, I think it's called Build Better Websites Together for Small Businesses, click subscribe to be notified about that event. That'll be happening right here on YouTube Live, and it'll be even more professional. I'll have slides. My face will be in a little bubble on the left, hopefully. We'll see if that works out. I am my own tech support squad, so that is on my to-do list for things to figure out, how to do slides on YouTube Live. I think it has something to do with streaming software. It'll be fun times. There's a lot of small businesses out there, and I feel like a lot of the small businesses I know are living, breathing DEI work. These businesses are bringing inclusivity and respect into our communities, and I really appreciate all of the work that small business owners do to keep our community running. I encourage you to support another small business owner today, whether that's sharing their work, purchasing something from them, or just reaching out saying, hey, this is really cool that you're doing what you're doing. I really appreciate that. If you're a small business owner, or if you're thinking about running a small business or wondering how to get started, go ahead and leave a comment in the chat if we're live, or in the comments below if you're watching this later. I'd love to hear from you. It's always good to hear from all other small business owners. Being online in community with other small business owners is one of the great things about running a business like mine. I provide marketing strategy, tech support, website assistance to small business owners. And it's really gratifying to be able to help grow the business, especially these small local businesses that are doing great things in education, real estate, technology. Lots of things can help make people's lives better. And small business owners are uniquely situated to be able to help people more directly, one-on-one. I really like working for businesses where they have a goal of being able to help people not only make money, but make a positive difference in people's lives. I've always worked for companies where we're trying to make a positive difference. From the marketing agency I started out with, we were trying to recruit students to sign up for degree programs to enhance their careers and make their lives better. It was really motivating to work on these projects, and that came from the leadership of the agency really just wanted to do projects to do good. I've worked at a healthcare company. I've worked at other companies that are really trying to help people. That's super important to me and my career. And part of the work that I'm doing, to bring it back to DEI, is even though I'm doing this work on a really small scale right now, I think that's what we need, this grassroots effort to be inclusive, to be respectful, and to build better small businesses. This is how we fight back against the big corporations. We go small, we go local, we work with each other, and we find a way to succeed, despite the overall, challenges that we're facing right now. If you found this message helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more small business tips. And that upcoming Build a Better Website class, it's going to be really cool. We're going to go through a lot of information in this website class. Don't miss it. Click subscribe if you'd like to join us for that live. It'll be great. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And see you next time. Thanks.